Ridley Scott once again returns to the Alien franchise after Prometheus with the new Alien Covenant, starring Katherine Waterston, Danny McBride, Michael Fassbender, Billy Crudup, and a whole cast of other people. See, I just say other people because they're just there to die and I don't really care about them. I kind of went into this movie moderately excited. I like Prometheus a little bit better than the other people who hated it did. I thought there was some good stuff in there. I didn't love it or anything, but I think it's a decent movie. And of course, Alien is a classic, so whenever Ridley Scott comes back to the Alien franchise, I'm at least interested. But I cannot begin to tell you how much I was disappointed in this movie. I thought this movie was absolutely awful. We'll get into why I think it's awful in a little bit, but first I'll go ahead and give you what I thought was good in the movie. First off, Ridley Scott, still a good director. His movies still look amazing. The cinematography in this movie is great. The landscapes that they chose to shoot in are incredible. Good looking movie, all around. As far as acting goes, I thought everyone was good. I think Michael Fassbender's still the standout like he was in Prometheus. Katherine Waterston and Danny McBride do a well enough job, and everyone else, like I said before, is just kind of there to die. And last thing, there are some really cool things that they decided to do with the Alien in here. There's some really cool, interesting choices that they make. Really creative things happen with the Alien that are pretty cool. But none of that really matters because this movie fucking sucks. I'll start off with, you know how I said that some of the stuff they do with the Alien is really cool? It's not there enough. Don't get me wrong. When they do it, it's awesome. There's some really cool stuff in there. I was blown away at some of the stuff they decided to do with the Alien. But the Alien in this movie is there maybe about 10%. So the other 90% is really boring, really dull, and, you know, lacking alien stuff, which is kind of what I wanted to see because it's an alien movie. Next big problem I had, I think the characters were pretty awful on the whole. None of them are really interesting. None of them are really given enough to do. No one really stands out as someone that you're rooting for. They're just people, like I said, there to die, which is one of the worst things you can have in a horror movie. Now, when you think back to the other Alien movies, you do not have this problem. Ellen Ripley is one of the greatest characters of all time. You have Hudson, you have Hicks, you have Newt, you have Dallas, you have Parker. Like, there's so many memorable characters from those movies, and this has none of that. You really only have recognizable actors, and that's kind of what carries you through if you're, like, rooting for someone. I like Danny McBride, so I was like, I hope Danny McBride makes it out of this. But that's about the level of character that you get in this movie. They try to develop some things, but it never really comes to fruition. It never really makes an impact. None of it really works. Now, what the movie decides to focus on instead is the big, brainy, philosophical questions from Prometheus that we're still dealing with. Which, hey, I'm down for smart sci-fi. I love smart sci-fi. That's why I love the original Alien so much, because it's smart sci-fi. But there's a problem when it's literally all you focus on. When it's just like a lecture of like, here's what I think about the philosophy of gods and humans and their creators and blah, 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 blah. Who gives a shit? It's an Alien movie. Let's get to the Alien, please. And some will say, hey Brendan, you know what? The Alien wasn't in the first Alien movie that much, so you know, what's the problem with this movie not having the Alien that much? Well, there's a difference between setting up the Alien and just forgetting about it. This movie forgets about the Alien, it doesn't center on it whatsoever. It just completely disregards that and just wants to be its own like philosophical big sci-fi movie. And in the original Alien, where the alien is ever present, it's never off of your mind. It's always focusing on that. It's always focusing on the crew trying to save themselves from it, getting away from it, trying to kill it. And it really hurts the movie. It really does. Like, there's the scene where it builds a lot of tension, it builds a lot of suspense, and you're just like, whoa, holy crap, they've made the alien scary again. And then it dips, and it never gets back to that level ever again. Another problem with the characters, they're really stupid in this movie. Like, incredibly stupid. Like, if you had a problem with how stupid the characters from Prometheus were, like the running away in just a straight line, or like, hi, little space cobra. Hey, buddy. You're not gonna kill me, are you? Oh, wait, you are, because you're a space cobra. If you had a problem with that, you are going to have some serious problems with this movie. You are going to have some discrepancies. I just couldn't get over the entire time how dumb this crew was. Made up of scientists, pilots, engineers, everyone. Just falls for the stupidest fucking shit in this movie. The biggest problem with these characters being this dumb is it just feels like the movie constantly betrays the characters for the ideas that it has. Like, whenever it actually wants to do something, it'll make the character make a dumb decision, or make a character do this or do that, and I just feel like that story is less interesting if the story is controlling the characters. It should be the other way around. The characters should be moving the story along. Once again, I hate to bring up the original Alien too much, but like, there's a reason the alien is on board. It's because Ash was sent on a mission to retrieve the alien and make sure it got back to Earth. It's a character motivation that works in the movie. It's a character motivation that moves the story along instead of the story happening to the characters. And as far as dialogue goes, there's so much bad dialogue in this movie. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I was taken out of this movie just because a line didn't work or sounded really bad. And when you're trying to plant such big ideas and try to be so philosophical and so brainy, it's really tough to seem that smart when you're just throwing out these shitty lines the whole time. People were laughing at my screening at some of the lines that were just that dumb. Like, really bad. And I think the biggest problem I have with this movie is that it's just kind of dull and boring. The other problems I've mentioned I can usually forgive if the movie's enjoyable or fun, and this movie just isn't that at all for me. The parts that are fun are so few and far between that I just couldn't forgive just these big chunks of just nothing I could connect with. Like I said, the characters, don't care. Dialogue, pretty bad. Alien stuff, too little. For me, those things all make a pretty awful time at the movies. Especially when I know that there are movies in this franchise that are so much better, so much more groundbreaking, and still scary and thrilling to this day. Like, I watched Alien and Aliens before going to this movie. Those movies are still fantastic. They're amazing. They laid the groundwork for so much of what we do in filmmaking today. They're classics. This movie isn't that, and it tries to copy so much from those other movies. Like, I went to go see this with a bunch of friends, and when they walked out, they were like, I loved how it mashed up Alien and Aliens and Prometheus and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, yeah, and it just didn't do anything different. It didn't advance anything, really. And it has one of the most telegraphed endings I've ever seen in a movie. Everyone in our theater knew what that ending was going to be. And the movie was, like, so convinced that it was gonna surprise us with it. Like, it was bad. So obviously, overall, I did not enjoy Alien Covenant. I did not like this movie. I thought it was boring. I thought it was dumb. I thought it was convoluted. I think it is nowhere near its predecessors. Even Prometheus. I thought Prometheus was a better movie on the whole. So I would definitely say that Alien Covenant is a bad movie. So what did you guys think of Alien Covenant? Did you think it was fun? Did you think it was boring? Do you completely disagree with me? Do you think I'm just crazy for thinking what I think? Or do you agree with me? Let me know. Comment on the video, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter at MurphMatinee, and thank you very much for watching.